Ass Man.
Ass Man?
Yeah, Ass Man, Jerry. I'm Cosmo Kramer, the Ass Man.
This show's got butts. This show's got butts. This show's got butts. So good on the show. So good on the show.
I did it.
What? I haven't even announced the show, Filoni. What are you doing?
I did it.
What did
Kiss
you do?
my ring, Jason. Kiss my ring. I run this shit now, baby. It's gonna be called Filoni Film here in about 5 parsecs. Know what I'm saying?
I'm Jason Sindula, and this is the Felonious D. And
That's
to watch, listening, hearing, being abducted by the Making Star Wars show. Dave, you did a good job, buddy.
You hear it? You hear that sound? It's the sound of money. It's the sound
shit.
of money. I'm gonna get movies.
A movie.
They can't fire me now. Big Bob can't fire Big Filoni. Know what I'm saying?
I mean,
he can't do it. I'm in charge.
You're getting to the point where the corporation's going to start hiding the bodies for you. That's how big you're getting, Filoni.
When Apple buys us, we're gonna change that name to Fapple. Know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get all my ways.
So Economics Legal 6989. Are you the guy from Reddit? Are you like the real one? Are you the one? If you are, good job. He says, dude, Jason, looks like your source wasn't completely wrong. Revenge of the Sith Anakin fought with young Ahsoka and ruled between worlds. You rock, brother. Thank you. And good on you. You did great work. That said, yeah.
It's totally not Jet just tapping into the phone. You know what I mean? He don't do that. No, we put a stop to that one. So he don't do that no more.
No. So Filoni, can I have Rob back by some chance?
What? Oh,
yeah,
no.
I mean, are you
on the show? Look, Jason, this show got way better when he was gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at the views; they went way up when he went on the show. Like, we got to talk. Don't you want to talk Purgles with me? Don't you want to talk some Purgles and some?
But we want to keep the show, like small and offensive. And
you want to keep it uncircumcised, right? That's what you want to do. All right, okay.
On cut. And
okay, I agree. I just want to come on and congratulate myself on everything I'm doing for this saga, because I'm holding it up with all my hands and feet. Sometimes I turn around and just put my butt. I just pick it up with my butt. I'm holding the whole thing up by myself. Strike or no strike. I'm just doing it all. Filoni does it all. So you all welcome. Kiss my ass. Mando season 5's canceled. We're gonna do Ahsoka season 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then we're gonna do a Purgles. We're gonna do Purgle House. It's gonna be a House of Purgles. I can't wait to make it.
Right.
All right.
Anyways, yeah. So I wanted to ask you, Rob, because this episode, I mean, in the best way, is for me like one of the things I've always wanted, and it's complete fan service, but I mean this as in deserved, as in I earned it. I followed the shit long enough, and they paid me back on this fan service for giving me, like, I mean, I saw moments from the Clone Wars movie just sort of retold and re-experienced, but I saw that and stuff from going through all these different shows all the way to Rebels and so on, and from the prequels and all that shit. And it's like so for me, it was just like, oh yeah, like this is pretty home run area for me. Did those things feel important to you? Did they feel like interesting, like compelling moments for you as somebody who doesn't give a shit about that stuff for the most part? Like even after the prequels.
Surface ways. Look, this is the kind. Look, I'm gonna say this. Even, and I've said this before on the show. The one sequence in Attack of the Clones I love is when the giant Geonosis ball crashes and dust kicks up, and the clone troopers are fighting in the smoke with the lasers going through the dust, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a brilliant sequence, and it's all digital, like none of it's real. I'm like, best sequence in the movie. And then they failed it with that shitty lightsaber fight. So this was like, hey, let's do that for the whole thing. You know what I mean? In the volume with the budget and make it work. And it worked. This is how you use I mean, it's not at the same level of the Coen brothers when they did Macbeth on Apple, because it's the Coen brothers, but it's like the same thing, using a minimalized set in an environment, right? Very Kurosawa, was it Throne of Blood? Remember when he did like that, his take on Macbeth too? So that's why
I thought you were talking about my bathroom. Oh yeah.
You ate too much popcorn today.
This is the ulcers. These ulcers.
Rough. Smooth going in, rough coming out.
I heard ulcer twins, and I thought it was something else. So
it's what killed Heath Ledger. So
yeah.
But so yeah, this was the performances
Mhm.
from prequels that I'd always wanted to see. You know, like this is the scale, the tone, the little kid acting, the little kid fighting. That I'm like, you could have made an Anakin work, you know, if you had, you know.
Well, to be fair,
right?
Jason Syndulla is out of the Kitster School of Acting.
I'm not talking about. I'm talking about the prequel stuff. Wait until I get to the normal world shit, right?
But little Ahsoka, Barbie's little Ahsoka, as we call it around here.
The Clone Wars prequel era stuff is a 10 out of 10 for me.
Mm-hmm.
The New Republic era stuff is around a 7.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like other than the droid, I like the Who-Yang droid stuff is really, and Who-Yang. So look, he did something. This is where I'm like, Filoni should have at the very least wrote Kenobi. I'm not saying direct. I mean, it's an amazing.
Yeah, Kenobi. Fuck you, Filoni. I wrote Kenobi.
Right. Okie dokie. I wrote Kenobi. You know, like, but I'm just like, if the dude spent that much time with George Lucas in the Clone Wars era, then he's probably he spent more time writing them characters than George did when he wrote Attack of the Clones. You know, so it's like he should have at least wrote the series, because tonally, the tone of the whole series, even if I'm not into like, I don't care for the military shit they're doing at all. Like, I don't get any of it, and I'm iffy on. Is she breathing underwater for 2 days? Well, like, I don't like, you know, like, it doesn't matter. I guess
two things about that is like Filoni learned everything about the military from McHale's Navy. So that's why.
The movie with Tom Arnold, that's actually watchable.
Agree to disagree. But
no, he learned everything from True Lies when it comes to the military. Although,
yeah, I do think Dave Filoni learned everything about the military from James Cameron. I'm pretty sure that's
Cameron knows what he's talking about. So
I said he learned it from James Cameron, not that he knows what from. Yeah,
probably ignored it. But the thing with the space whales, I actually really enjoy, because look, there's a thing that I have where I feel like man invents technology. This is a theoretical, philosophical, anthropological moment here, right? Where man develops technology to conquer or be on par with nature, to not be subjugated by nature, right? But then man constantly, man or woman, binary, non-binary, whatever, you know what I'm talking about, assholes. They
robots.
Man finds out nature can just fucking has magical fucking powers. You know what I mean? Like, and I love that you can still be. That's the part of Yoda that I thought in Empire Strikes Back worked that was not used in Return of the Jedi, where you're like, this little creature is way more powerful than I gave it. You know, these whales are way more power. There's just more to this. As much as we know, there's more to this than we all thought, because we're not really focusing on it. You know, we're not paying any attention to it. So when I think of lost technologies, like, that's something that, I imagine the original Jedi were, you know, taming space whales and traveling in it. Like, that shit's all fucking cool when handled in a serious, not overly serious, Zack Snyder way. I'm just saying the tone is taking it with respect, in the way that James Cameron does in an Avatar movie, when you're like, this planet is alive. You know what I mean? This is a living planet, and you can like disrespect it, but fucking eventually nature will come for your fucking ass too. Like, there's a lesson to be learned there. Don't think you're above it. And so I find that stuff all worked brilliantly, you know? So yeah, super, super exciting.
Yeah. I was pleasantly surprised. I was knowing most of the stuff that was going to happen in there, and I figured it would be like a little bit more, no, I mean, we've been talking about it for a while. But like it didn't feel like it was like it wasn't just like, here it is and here it is. all of the things really felt like there was a good flow to this episode and to the whole entire thing. It was done it had a kind of a finesse to it that you don't get in many of the Star Wars shows, I think.
Yeah, and I like the pacing of the show because it feels like a dramatic show, not a movie that's moving on to get to the next scene. Some people have complained, fans, and I'm like, but if you want to know what a movie versus a show should feel like, this is what a show should feel. This feels in keeping with the pace of an Heir to the Empire, where Heir to the Empire didn't move like a movie, move like a book. This moves more like a book, which I'm perfectly happy to do. So, super props to sound design, right? The music's great, but I want to talk about sound design. There's little things I noticed, like when they're coming down the ramps, just the way they do the clinking sounds off ramps are very sharp. Like I listen to it with good headphones and stuff. So like, I'm like, this is not in Mando season 3 or Kenobi and shit like that. You know what I mean? This is very old school Ben Burt level fucking, probably even better than Andor, like in terms of, or at least on par in terms of that. Like it's just very, the way the X-Wing sound, you can tell when they're high up in the air, you can tell when they're low down, and it's not like a canned sound clip, like it's specific, like someone was mixing it. So I really think when the Emmys, if they ever come back, if the strike ever ends, like if we get awards, that it really should win sound design for anything this year. I don't see anything coming close to the sound design of this. The lightsabers and the sounds of the waves is something that should not have worked under a lesser person, but that really works in the mix. Like that's something that could be totally dumb, dude. Like just not handled right. But you're like, shit, waves do sound like lightsabers. And I can just imagine one day Filoni was at Manhattan Beach, and he's like, man, this sounds like lightsabers. He writes it down, sketches lightsabers in the waves and shit, gets it tattooed on his back next to a travel stamp. He's got little back here, he's got a tramp stamp with some sabers all on the way. Or maybe he's got one of those TNC shirts with the ape, right? Surfing with the lightsaber. Yeah. Like maybe that's how he figured
I had that.
out.
I had that shirt. I had that shirt.
Yeah.
And the game, the game too. The game and the shirt.
Surprisingly though, the whales didn't make any noises. Like that was interesting. Like they don't
in the next episode, Ahsoka and Hyung pull a Dave Matthews, and they just let the fucking shitter like leak out. They just turn it on free flow, all of the waste from the last several missions into the whale, and then they
does someone make an edit where it cuts to Mario Brothers where they're in there with Seth Rogen, right? Like
but you hear it goes no.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't miss it. It's just it's not a big part of it.
I think I could be wrong, but I think they just kept with the same sound effects for the whales from the original cartoon. I think.
Yeah, when I say it's not at the same level as the other stuff I'm mentioning, So
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah. I know what you mean. The Nura says, loved seeing Rex, need the post indoor one. Yeah, that's always possible. By the way, I said that the other day, and somebody on Reddit said, I said it's possible post indoor comes up, and I was like, no, I didn't say that. I didn't say it was as in anything's possible, homies. You know what I mean? Anything could happen in this crazy space world. But I didn't mean to imply it was happening, if it confused anybody on that. But yeah,
I mean, if you even look, hold on, if you even look at the Republic cruisers, I never noticed it before. They look like space whales. They got the same teeth, like the ridge line, so you got this visual shot of these starships that look like like they were designed, whoever designed them probably based them off the whales back in the day. They don't even know it,
Well,
like,
see, what I would do is I would make our ships look like them, and then the whales would come to mate with our spaceships, giving us
coaxium, humping the leg of the
and then you just have like a little gas thing opens up. You're like, go ahead, buddy.
Look. Once Filoni's running this, anything's possible.
Once Filoni's running it, our dreams will come true.
Right. Once he slays the Kennedy, right, in front of the Darth Iger, right?
Yeah.
Do it. Right.
He goes, no, and so I'm gonna put my hat back on. Shut up, bitch.
Did you read that article? I'm gonna stay on topic, but did you read the article about the Iger versus Chapek? It took me an hour to get
I
through it.
know.
It's fucking 12,000 words.
Really?
It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't read the new one. I know some of it. I've heard things about it, but I
Well,
didn't.
the
read
best
it,
takeaway.
but-
The best takeaway is Iger called himself Big Bob and called Chapek Little Bob. Little
But
Bob.
I gotta be, but you know, Chapek though right now is like, thank God Bob Iger's a fucking asshole, because nobody's gonna remember me now, and they're gonna remember what an asshole he is forever now.
Right.
So that's where they're at. But yeah, so you know, Bestman texted me jokingly, but I think a little bit more than jokingly, and said, you know, Ahsoka seems to get like her personality back by the end of the episode, because she is kind of a wet blanket for the first episodes. She's, you know what I mean? She's just
this
really
is why I give the story,
withdrawn and sullen.
I give the story a 7, because I think whatever she goes through in the world between worlds would have I mean, on the chat, I was reading, some of the people were like, what was the point of the whole thing? And I'll let you get into the specifics more, but I think that would become clearer if she had more of a death wish, or she didn't really care to do anything in the front of the show. I mean, it's hard to have a protagonist who doesn't want to do anything and to rally behind it. I could see Filoni going, well, what are we going to do? She doesn't want to do anything, you know, but she could be more like, hey, it just won't end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This doesn't end well, and it just doesn't end, and we're just doing the same thing over and over again. So what is the point? You know what I mean? If I train you're just gonna at some point train someone else who will probably, or they'll train someone else who'll train someone else who'll just ruin the whole universe again. Like, there is some way to do this that I think shows that she has an inability to move forward for whatever reason that is not as clear. He's put it in the vague Lucas area of storytelling where it's up to you to figure it out, you know, like you're participatory here. It's like impressionistic storytelling, you know? So, yeah.
Well, when it comes to, I don't want to like armchair it too much, because I think that they wanted the moment with the Purgles to be, you know, a very special moment. So they didn't want to telegraph it too much. That's why they introduced them early on, and then they kind of like, you know, from there didn't want to move into it. But I would have appreciated in the early episodes, it maybe the show even opening with Ahsoka trying to get in that whale's mouth and it saying, no, I'm not joking.
Right,
no. And then
right.
when she comes back,
Ahsoka
the white, they're like, oh, your fucking vibe is different. Come on in, baby. You know what I mean?
Like I said, there is another way to take the same things and just whiteboard them maybe a little more effectively, you know, however it goes around. So it's just because I feel like the story, this is where the first act ends. And then I'm like, should be 12 episodes, right? This should be the first act. And the next 4 should be the second act. And the last 4 or 3 would be the third act, you know, like however you want to, you know, like it feels like this could have been a complete little mini movie if set up a little right, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know,
I'm
I'll
sure
still take this, you know, I'm not gonna.
I'm sure Filoni would have done that if he had the money and the time, you know. I'm sure that's what would have done. And from what we've been hearing, it sounds like this series, you know, it's not the end. It's just really continuing on. Thank you for the super chat, Anna. She says, Anish, I think they should have gone with Savannah Stein. She looks closer to Clone Wars Ahsoka, and she is way more athletic and warrior-like. I can't picture Ariana defeating Darth Maul. And well, thankfully, for what it's worth right now, we won't have to see that for what it is. She's gonna, you know, they're probably not gonna go remake all of those moments. So in your mind, you could always just imagine that, I think. But that said, I kind of think that if they do move forward with the young Ahsoka stuff as they go on, the actor will obviously mature, and then they will just make her look younger as she matures, and it will probably look closer to that. So, but
I don't think they should have gone with Jake Lloyd as Anakin Skywalker. We could have these conversations for 20 years.
Man,
that's the great part about the show, Jason. We get to complain forever. They make the show or the movie once, but we get to complain for 20 years about who
2 fucking words for you, buddy.
So
Chappa Chowa. Thank you
I
for the
know.
super chat.
And that's why I watched The Matrix. Like, that's why I watched The Matrix.
And thank you, Air Force Jedi, for a super chat and for being a channel member. Air Force Jedi says, Kinder continues to be absolute money. I thought Hayden and young Ahsoka actor blinking on her name were fantastic. Love the world between world sequence and how second half of episode kept the plot moving. So yeah, I was sort of surprised at how much we moved beyond the stuff we were obsessed with, the Anakin stuff or whatever, and then moved on. That was almost like 2 episodes. It was almost like 2 short episodes of the show. And I'm glad they didn't milk it, because I think they could have got away with it on that one if they had gone that way. And that's where, if we were stuck in that 22-minute paradigm, that's what we would have had, and it would have been painful, going from something like that to something more pedestrian. But in this moment, the one moment though that I thought Rob would mention, because I laughed, and I'm wondering if you laughed too. If you didn't laugh, hey, it's fine. But when Ahsoka is sitting on that fucking bed at the end, and the couch is the same color as her face, and it looks like she's the couch, like she's just a face in the couch.
Yeah, that whole shot was weird, because when it first opens up, it's at a weird angle. It's almost like a matte painting, like an old school matte painting, where the perspective's locked to the camera and they can't move it, and I'm like, that's an odd shot. Like, I can see someone drawing that shot, but that's not I went on set and we scouted and picked these shots. That's someone who drew it, a little, and didn't want to give up the shot. Like, they were very Filoni was proud of his drawing and was like, we're doing that shot. Like, all right, man, we'll do the shot. She does look like she became part of the couch, like in Pee-wee's Playhouse or something.
It looked like, God, it reminds me of something, and there's something specific and it's one of those kind of era visual effects from the 80s or 90s, 80s probably. And I was kind of laughing. I was like, why would you paint the couch or the seat the color of her face? Why would you do that?
The sunlight is orange and she's orange is the problem. And she's got that white headdress, and once you take off any of the other stuff, so it blends in, it's just the orange light.
I mean, couldn't it have just have been blue or something, I don't know, so something different to make it work.
That your DP is supposed to talk to the director and go, hey, you want to see the head couch thing?
She looked like a basketball living in a couch. It was just weird. But it was nice. It was nice to see sort of have the plot point becomes Anakin's teaching her one last kind of lesson. Is kind of where they're at, and it's also her choice to live or die.
I also think casting wise, Savannah Stein is much older, and I think what they were probably doing was trying to show a greater distance in time visually. Because when you put someone in their 20s next to someone in their 40s with heavy makeup, sometimes it doesn't read much younger than you think. It could look closer in age, and then you're going to be like, she looks like she's older than she should. You just don't know. You can imagine. But Jason, you went on the show once and told everyone Grogu was going to be in a mech suit, and everyone had their own idea what that looked like, So it's as an artist, you can never describe art to people. If I describe to you Starry Night by Van Gogh, right, or Picasso, whatever the fucking dudes did,
it's like a painting. Everything looks stupid. I don't know why it looks stupid, but it's stupid.
Right. It's not the same. So it's just hard to say. They're going for a clearer read. But the little kid acting was great, I thought. I mean, I've seen some people complain. I'm like, what world? There's another kid in the show who's acting dumb. You pay attention to that one. You want to complain.
No, let's not pick on any kids.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
What? I was talking about Carson.
I was like,
if he's been to his YouTube channel, he opens up toys. He opens up more toys on his YouTube channel than Santa Claus.
Well,
every
to
night
be fair, he's making Mando money now, Ahsoka money, and Santa Claus.
Bless him. Look, by the way, man has 10 times more charisma on his YouTube channel than he's given the opportunity to do in these shows. This was better, but I'm like, this man's pretty charismatic. He just needs a Tarantino, or someone who can just write human, or how about James Cameron from the late 80s, right? one of those like when he was writing everyone like when they were trucker or oil riggers, you know what I mean? Like he always
I'm pretty sure
collar.
if it was James Cameron writing it, he would pick up like a cup and he'd be like, "Look, Full House," and then like a laser beam would go through his eye.
Yes,
and that would be
that was a great shot. It's a great shot. It's a great shot. Holds up.
No, it does. It does.
Look, it works so well. Whenever
I
you
love
saw
Carson.
one of those vending machines, you got excited, right? Like,
Oh yeah,
right. So,
oh yeah, big time.
yeah, no, man, but yeah, no, I like the acting on the young Ahsoka tremendously. Thought she was great.
Yeah, it's like that's the girl from. She's in Barbie. She's in a huge movie. She's
word
she's
for it.
having a good year. She's having a good year. But yeah, and then there were little moments that I liked a lot that were like memorable that I thought were good for Hayden, because I love the prequels and I'm able just to appreciate them as they are for what they are and just go with the story for what it is. But he has some very, very difficult acting to contend with a director who's just like, I don't care what you do.
Case in point, and I can prove this to folks. I never complained about Hayden Christensen being cast as Anakin Skywalker. My problem always lay with George Lucas, because when he was cast, Hayden did a movie called Life as a House.
Life as a House,
which I took my conservative uncle to go see. I was like, it's a gay movie.
And he also did did it Glass or something at the time too, and that was also
Life as a House. And my uncle even liked that movie. He's like, this is a good. I'm like, he's gonna. Then I told him he's gonna be Anakin Skywalker. He's like, what? Like he was super excited until we all saw the movie. So like, the director's job is to get performances, and I've been very supportive of Filoni even back on the Mando episodes. That the performances, like the Michael Biehn performance, right, the Ahsoka performance in that Mando episode with Elsbeth and all that, like all that stuff was very good.
He's on more beans. More beans. What he tells him,
and it's just, but this was the kind of thing I was hoping we were gonna get into Kenobi. Like,
I miss him, by the way. That was a mistake to kill him.
What?
I wish Michael Biehn was alive.
Yeah, they never should have killed Michael. As ridiculous. Yeah. Big mistake.
Yeah.
But he wants to work.
Yeah, it's good. It's great. But I was gonna say was no, but like the moments where he's like kind of being lighthearted on the battlefield, and so I was like, what the fuck, dude? He's like, what? You want me to joke around? Like, you want me? You know what I mean? Like those were good human. Those were moments that, even though they're like in that dream sequence, they're essentially like humanizing Anakin. That kind of stuff does work to. Well, it can work to improve the prequels in some ways, but in some other ways, it might end up being like when you watch this for like 2 years and then watch the prequels again, you're like, what the fuck is he doing? Why is he acting like that?
Well, look,
I
had a theory in the early 2000s when I still cared enough to rewrite the prequels, right? Before I just quit. I abandoned Star Wars like a proper samurai would, right? I went Ronin.
Fucking quitter.
But I was like, he should have done? He should have made the prequels 6 movies and just renumbered. He already redoes every fucking thing, just renumerize the first 3 films and give this stuff 6 movies to start with a little kid who grows up during a war, but we're neither here nor there, right? So I thought that was really great because it does show he's a conflicting character, and he's got an immaturity and at the same time an old person in a young person's body, right? Like he has both happening at the same time. He's a person who's split, and I guess we come from that latchkey kid era, right? Of like multiple parents, sometimes no parents, right?
No parents usually.
So sometimes, like when Mike hates all the responsibilities of the house, and then at the same time, no one's there. Like, so like there's this weird split that I think Anakin reflects Gen Xers probably closer than anyone else in the prequel or Star Wars trilogy, more than Luke Skywalker. He doesn't. He's like 70s Little House on the Prairie dude, like the only thing that I never understood is, and this is what I like about this, because he's fucking cool in this episode. Like the name Anakin is a great name. Like when I first heard the name Anakin, I'm like, that's a fuck. I've never heard the name Anakin before. Like that is a cool name. And it confused me why Lucas would take the coolest name I've ever heard and then call him Annie. Like give him the lamest fucking little orphan Annie, the dumbest fucking name like ever. And he's Star Wars. Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
I named my son Luke, and you know what I call him? Lukey. all the time.
Yeah, you
No, hey,
should, right?
Lukey, you know it's how it goes,
Anakin
man.
Needs to be James Dean, and Luke is the nerd. Anakin should have been cool, who has a nerd kid. You know, like you don't go nerdier than Luke Skywalker. You know, like you don't try to do that.
Well, no, but they mostly drop the Annie stuff later. I mean, that's just when he's the 8-year-old that he's mostly Annie, though. Like I think Padme might say it.
She calls him that. You know, she calls. It's there.
But that's just her going, I know you're a dick ain't big.
He also had the Phantom Menace got nothing but praise. I think it would have stayed the same with Jar Jar. Like those movies changed the second the whole world's like George Lucas used, with their childhood, that stupid fucking phrase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
George Lucas got my childhood pregnant. So
also they did a good job. Like when he's fighting her in the World Between Worlds with the red saber, like they age him a bit. Like,
that's number one. That's the first time we ever saw him with the red lightsaber in the Anakin suit. He doesn't have it, and then he does. Yeah, what they did was they made him like the Sith Lord version, and when they do that, I don't think they de-aged him. I think they traced his stuff more. That's what it looked like to me. Like the makeup job was.
But it looked like when he was going darker, he was looking more Palpatine-y. Like I only watched it the one time. So, and then when she says, I want to live, he goes back to being youthful. Like if you look, it might just be the lighting though. It's hard to say.
No. After she makes her choice, that avatar of Anakin is back to the hunky.
Right. So that's what I saw then. Okay.
To the one that was finger blasting Padme with a robot hand. That's the one he becomes. Not the one that was crying on Mustafar because he killed the best character ever, Wat Tambor.
Best character ever, C.O. Bibble. Knock the fuck. C.O. Bibble would be Luthen's bitch. I want to see that series where Luthen just runs an old C.O. Bibble into the ground. Like you fucking idiot. You want to see invasion? Turn around.
I think Luthen and C.O. Bibble definitely have been in hot tubs and explored each other's bodies.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Shinshi.
Yeah.
Shogun Orta says, I always thought Annie was unofficially another meme by which Anakin got pushed to the dark side. A boy named Sue. Great Johnny Cash song. If you guys never heard it, it's kind of funny.
Yeah,
makes me laugh.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. But it's just Lucas invoking little rascals, and and it's just leave the Buster Key. When we had Ahmed Best on this show, can't believe I can say that and be truthful. When we had Ahmed Best on the show, and he was trying to invoke Jackie Chan, with Jar Jar Binks, and Lucas was like, no, it's like Buster Keaton. I'm like, what a heartbreaking moment for Mr. Best.
To be
right?
fair, he did leave this show and then go right to being in the Mando and doing some Jackie Chan. So he got his Jackie Chan. He did get it. So thank you, Shogun, for the super chat, and thank you for being a channel member, dude. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you, Shogun.
Yeah, somebody had
Shogun of Harlem.
Oh, really? But Mumbo Jumbo, another channel member, says, like the video, you filthy animals. So do that, please.
If you don't, I'll just go back to being a ghost.
Oh, don't like the video.
People are like, I like it. I don't like looking at him. I like looking at
him. I don't like looking at him.
Also, what other show has a Force Ghost? I don't like Living Rod.
Don't look at me like that. That's what Padme said. But yeah. So, anyways, though, there was those moments on the battlefield stuff was good. Bespin messaged me.
Excellent use of the volume.
Yeah,
the battles. When people complain that the volume's the problem, no, the tool is not the problem. The execution is the problem. Excellent use of the volume. They gave you all the Clone Wars on a budget in the volume effectively using silhouettes and smoke and light and good acting. You know what I mean? Works. Excellent music.
Yeah, Bespin says seems to have gone over people's heads, but the flashback was Teth and Ryloth. Teth was the flashback start. Then Ryloth, when Ahsoka is holding the hand of the trooper, you can tell it's Teth by the walker things and purple smoke. And it's those are for the hardcore Clone Wars people. Some of them didn't really put it together, which I was a little bit surprised by. At the same time, though, they did obscure it. They did, but since it's like I said, since it's this liminal space between life and death that she's in, and it's sort of a dream, it sort of happens and it sort of doesn't. I'm okay. I can
Tales
let
of
it go.
Power Star Wars, you know. I'm all for it.
The sets are very, you know, they were very minimalist for those moments.
I don't think Andor should be having these kinds of vision. This is Jedi shit, you know. Jedi should be dealing with this weird shit, you know. Andor should just be having night terrors about building fucking one way out, you know.
Yeah. I'm sorry they punched you in the eye, Bix. I had another night there, you know. Oh no. But yeah. Overall though, like I'm very, very happy. I know, Bun Sauce. So here's what's up. Mr. Buns. I went to turn the computer on to do a show yesterday, and the monitor turned on. I logged in, and then it just went black, and it never came back. They say when you go black, you never go back. My computer did not, and so the monitor died. And
it's true, you don't go back, Jason. I never left. Know what I'm saying? A big black hat. That's what I wear.
They're making me feel like I'm about to get canceled again. But right now, someone's like, did you turn up the brightness on the monitor? I'm like, F2. No, it doesn't work. So anyway, so I got a monitor, and I hooked it up here, and now everything's off. Everything's wrong. I'm able to look at the camera right here because it's on my old computer, you know, but a very nice friend is sending me a new or another laptop to use for the show. So in fact, I'm betting that the PC that's being sent is way better than this 2018 Mac, and it's probably going to improve the show. So thank you. I can't thank you enough for that, because that means a lot. Like I'm starting my like new gig in about 6 weeks, and I just needed this fucking computer to last that 6 weeks, and then I'm in territory where it's like, oh, you know what?
Han Solo territory. Just do the Millennium Falcon for one more run.
Just one more job, then I'm out.
Yeah,
you know,
that's when you drop the spice, motherfucker.
yeah, this fucking piece of shit. Like I'm gonna Office Space the shit out of this computer though after everything's done. It has it coming. But yeah, anyways.
Did you ever see the Mike Judge animation shorts that he did before, like in the 90s, of that character?
Oh, the ones from like Liquid Television? The ones that used to air on
I don't know if it was on Liquid Television. I used to see him at Spike and Mike, but like that character
Mhm.
from Office Space was a cartoon he would do.
Yeah. Those would show up in Liquid, like the little, you know, they would just buy random shorts and put them on that show, and that's where I first saw Milton. I think his name is Milton.
Right, Milton.
What is it?
Milton.
Milton. Yeah.
Milton. Yeah.
Milton. Anyways, yeah. So throughout it, we had a lot of Republic stuff, but once again, in here, it's not fucking perfect, but it's way more palatable to me than what we've gotten in other places before as of late. And even like the you know, Carson Teva stuff with hair and stuff like that, it all conveyed the moments, and you know, generally like worked. I'm a little one of the things I'm not digging in either episode now is when they show like the New Republic bridge of those ships. It's shot like Star Trek. It's not shot like Star Wars.
Well, no, Star Trek shot. You're not watching Strange New Worlds. Star Trek's being shot like a fucking film. This is being shot I'm saying, Star Trek the ride. Like if you were going to Universal Studios. Yeah.
I'm saying it looks. Yeah, I don't
know what Starship.
Listen, nobody knows what's happening on Paramount Plus. Okay, like nobody at all. It's a big fucking secret.
All of Taylor Sheridan shit's on there. They're all watching it.
I know. So that's what when I've had it, then I watch it, and then I don't have.
Dude, you see, he's got a new show coming out in the movie in the show Watchmen. They covered the true story about the first black Ranger, Texas Ranger, or whatever, right? The sheriff that fought off like the Klan and shit. That's like Zorro was like, I mean, Zorro, but the Lone Ranger is sort of based off that. They just made him white, but it was actually a black man who was a sheriff who fought off the Klan. That's like the first vigilante like type. Like he had to dress up like in a mask and shit in Watchmen. Taylor Sheridan's doing that. He's doing that real character as a series. Interesting.
There's only one Texas Ranger as far as I'm concerned, man, and that's Walker. Texas Ranger.
You didn't see Expendables 3,
but
yeah, I'm with you. The anytime they cut to the bridge shot, it's not good, man. None of it's
good. It's like
it doesn't look like Return of the Jedi.
It doesn't look like Return, and it kind of like implies that they have this like secret snarky relationship between like the captain and like the person who stands up and doesn't get to sit down. And there's almost like, oh, shut the fuck up. Like, this is why I want to fucking punch Picard in his fucking stupid bald head. You know what I mean? Like all the time. Like let's just get past it.
I'd say it annoys me like Voyager annoyed me. How about that?
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
I don't like that guy who put that Odo character either. That's like a fucking rat. It's like a rat man.
Yeah, Odo's great. Odo's fantastic.
Odo's a rat.
You didn't watch the series. You didn't actually watch the series.
No, I don't watch the series. I just hate his face when I see it.
And he was great in Police Academy 5. My operation Manhattan,
that's fair.
Miami Beach. Yes.
That is fair. You're allowed
Good
to.
villain.
Yeah, he's great. I was great in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like that stuff's a little like whatever, you know. But but all in all, like I said, we've seen the New Republic stuff handled way worse than it's being handled here. And so I'm like, cool. Like this is I'm okay with this, generally speaking. The show wants you, I think, to believe that Jason Syndulla is Ahsoka's next Padawan. We literally go from the lesson. It was like a prominent shot. I remember being like, oh, they're definitely, I think, red herring the moment, because I think a red Hera.
Yeah, I don't like him. I don't like him the way I didn't like Harry Potter in that first Harry Potter movie. Like I never read the books. And I went and saw that Harry Potter movie.
Rob was fine with it until he saw that Harry Potter's had that huge wing when he did that play.
I didn't like that movie. I was like, this fucking kid gets everything. He cheats and he still wins at the end. I don't get the fucking point of this stupid story. You know, I hate this fucking. The snake kid should have won. I came out of there going, I'm rooting for the snakes. Fuck this movie. Like, and you would think as a kid who was abused by. I mean, emotionally abused and neglected by his adoptive family, I'd be rooting. I'm like, this fucking kid gets that. Fuck this little
you know what? Nah, this is some orphan bullshit.
What general gets to bring their kid to work, Jason? This is the part of the military shit where I'm like, she should already be in trouble for bringing her kid to work. You know, like it's so dumb, dude. Like this is the part I'm like, look, I'm gonna ignore this, you know, because everything else is all right. But I want you to know, I see you. Stupid shit, you know, like this. Come on, man.
KG says that her daughter thinks Jason is cute. So nice. Hook him up.
Yeah, kid's got attachments. He can never be a Jedi since Luke follows that stupid shit. That's where we're at. You know.
Well, the thing about that is, if we want to take Lucas as the Bible here. It's the issue is from the mother stuff is being removed from the mother too early. When you're a kid, I think he says like around like the psychologist that Lucas has talked to and you cited. I can't remember what the guy's name is.
Dr.
Right
Joyce
now.
Brothers.
No, Dr. Ruth. Says that like basically though. Like yeah, when you remove a boy from his mother at too young of an age, then the attachment issues actually like come on like really strong. So
what age? I was 7. Like,
yeah, that's too early. I think they're supposed to be you're supposed to be with your mother till around 11, or you do.
I didn't have the attachment though.
Maybe you have detachment issues instead.
Is that what that's called?
I made that up.
Yeah, sounds like some shit you'd make up.
I just made that up, so I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't think you're qualified. Wrong podcast.
Yeah, but anyways, no, but you know they can make it, but also she may die too. That's the other thing about these.
So one, like Luke, like Owen and Beru. Long as they're dead, then you're good to go. Like, gotta kill the parents.
Well, I mean,
go be a Jedi.
Yeah, if you take Mary Jane and Gwen Stacy off the chessboard, Spider-Man's untouchable.
What are we teaching kids? Like, the problem is your girlfriend's got to die for you to be the superhero. Oh shit!
So no,
maybe there's a reason why all those MCU podcasts are fucked up.
Look. When I say bitches without a gender or sex attached to it, but bitches will fuck your life up, and that's just the way that it is. You know, it goes that way, and that is the lesson.
Not mine.
That is
this is why I be Roka and you be Snyder. I don't endorse this statement. Like,
hey.
I said, hold on.
What is it?
I do. Oh. I endorse the statement. I endorse it. Snitches too, Jason.
They get
snitches will fuck your whole life up. They'll just rat you right out. They'll put all your movie right on the YouTube before you even get to shoot it. It's bullshit, Jason. You know, he's been drinking. Sorry, he's celebrating all that. Like, Filoni's on 3 punkachinos right now.
Pumpkino.
Right? So, oh man, it's pumpkin season. Look, here's how much look. My birthday's in October, so Halloween is my month. I already got my Halloween mug, and I got my punkachino. Right, I got my orange background. I got my orange shirt. Yeah. You know, only thing I don't do is dress. Oh, hold on. Actually, last year I should have videotaped it, but I can't do it again this year because I'll have to wait till some of the kids grow up. But last year for Halloween, when they came to the door, I opened the door and there was nothing, and we played Never Gonna Give You Up, and then I jumped in front and danced, and I did and I all night long, Jason, and everyone was like, oh, they all got got Rick Astley.
The whole night long. Got Rick rolled
the whole night. I Rick rolled everyone.
Yeah. Thurgan Orda says, and Hera left Jason at the temple to go find Ahsoka in the sea. Bad Mom award won again. Yeah, she did. He's gonna go in there. He's probably.
I like how she's pointing the gun the blaster at the open ocean. There's no one there. You got live scans on the fucking right. Like those ships can read live scans. You know, maybe you don't know droids.
You don't know this universe. Fucking Han Solo walked out of that ocean and like made Kylo Ren throw his lightsaber away.
Just send the droid out.
Don't trust the ocean.
Hey, Chopper, go out there. See if something kills you. Like, I know it's Star Wars. You let it go,
but I mean, but between like this show and Kenobi, I do feel like in the last like year ish, we've got the Anakin stuff really dealt with in a very, very strong way. Like all in all, like we've got Ahsoka and Obi-Wan Kenobi dealing with that character. They explored it in both of these now to like some extent. On this one, it was really good, so I'm not like, oh god, you fucking let me down. But I am a little bit like there was still some words I would like to have seen to be said on the here. But at the same time, I think with this show going multiple seasons and those issues will probably allow that character to come back and interact with her as time goes on, because we do know from the leaks that we're going to see like the Force ghost Anakin, like giving her like a nod at the end to let her know what you saw here, what happened there was divine and something, wasn't just a hallucination from you hitting your head in the ocean where those space whales were mating, in the ocean. So but
turns out Purgle sperm is hallucinogenic.
Oh yeah, he fucks you up, dude. I feel like you're going to hyperspace. You're like,
it's like that cartoon. What was that cartoon? Drawn Together. It was like they're all different cartoons were living together in a house, and they were like licking the Pikachu and getting high. Like,
yeah. I was hoping. So Robert says Hera lives out of that ship. She doesn't know any different at this point, and I doubt she trusts anyone to leave him behind.
She's in the military.
It's the byproduct of the lifestyle of all those years. But it's like,
you're deluding yourself. Well, they're threatening to de-rank her. Like, she's in the military. Where's she? Like, look, guys, man, I've had to work with generals. Like I know these personalities. Like it's not. I get a Han Solo. Was a general, but he was not like just going on. I don't know, man. Like it's just
like
Chewbacca's kids just showed up. You know what I mean? For hanging out with dad work. Like it'd be odd. Like it's just I don't. This is the part of Lucas that's not Return of the Jedi for me. It's Ewok adventure shit. Like I'm not into it.
So like in this particular like scenario, like my write-off of it has been that they were an unorthodox military force that came about and then defeated the Galactic Empire. And now they are still unorthodox, but then we're seeing the attentions start to come out as they move away from the war and do become more like, we're a fucking military. You don't just go, I'm
right.
Rogue too,
And
do that.
And had he ran these story beats by maybe Tony Gilroy, who can say, hey, what's it like when you take say like the
we know the
Mujahideen
answer
that we fund, that we've we know the answer where you fund
they
the
kill
Mujahideen,
you,
and then right.
They're not going to kill Hera, so
you have to make the Republic the villain. But then you also have another villain and you root for them. Like there is an interesting turn to be done there, but it needs more skilled hands to weave that basket, you know? Because here's the thing, you can look at it and we can all have these conversations on Santa Show or when you go on Santa Show. See, if you really want to see Jason, just 3 days a week he's on Santa Show. He's not really here. So you just go watch Jason and Bespin, and they can have really meaningful, in-depth, insightful conversations about all this. But it doesn't exist in the show. That's my problem. It exists with you extrapolating it. And for me, that ended with the prequel era films. I'm done extrapolating for George Lucas. Like, you need to put it in the show, or you know what I mean? It's just like there's just no excuse. I mean, I love Star Wars. When Star Wars works, man, I got a little teary-eyed on some of this stuff, and I don't even like some of these fucking characters. So like,
you cried?
Yeah.
You cried?
No, I got misty. No, but I mean, like, when you you know, you get a little hit of nostalgia, but when you're like, it can work, execution's everything. It's just know your strengths, and that's where it's like written by Dave Filoni and the guy who knows about the military shit. Like, this could actually work really well, you know?
Yeah. Shogun Orda gave a $5 super chat and says, okay, hear me out. The Force tried to drown Ahsoka. Seems the Force took her miles out to sea, and if she survived, she had miles to swim. Dum dum dum.
I could swim 400 miles and I would swim 100 more. Right? Like, just to be the Ahsoka.
Yeah.
It's so weird because last night after work, I got into a trip on watching Fluid Flux 2 videos. Have you seen this? Fluid Flux is a fluid simulation for Unreal 5. It's brilliant. And it works. It's brilliant. You know, it needs optimization for real games, but you just look at it like this should be in the Avatar. The Avatar game is looking great, by the way. But the water Fluid Flux,
gender fluidity, just some woke shit.
Talking about gender fluidity and Unreal.
Some woke shit.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's some absolutely brilliant woke. And I'm like, God, this fucking water is so good. And then I'm getting to this water, and I'm like, I don't know if it's as good as the Unreal water. It's shot in a tank. It's fine, you know? But normally when you wake up submerged into water, you go, what the fuck? You know, she goes, oh, yeah. I remember the last time I woke up in a giant ocean when I got on a bender with a crazy dark Jedi. I woke up submerged underwater. Like, not the first time.
I also thought for a second we were going to get a little bit of, about something about Balin. You know, the Balin skull thing. I thought we were gonna, like, maybe Anakin was going to give her, like, oh yeah, like, here's the thing that guy doesn't know. Like, I thought there was gonna maybe be something because he's all, you lost the fight and stuff like that, you know. But at the end of the day, he doesn't mean the fight with Balin. He means like the you know, for life itself. And
she lost. Well, but she's not there as a broken person. It's not Yojimbo. That's not a good. But in like the Seven Samurai. There's that one who's like he sort of gave the war took away his will to give a shit, you know, and at the end he gives a shit, right? And it's like that's what he's going for. It's just not it's not as strong, you know, like you're not seeing it in her performance because she still has to be a badass, and she's more like an investigator. You know, she's more like Poker Face in the first 3 episodes in a way. You know, she's going from town to town and working job to job. I don't know what the fuck. She's essentially a Jedi at a time when there was supposed to be no other Jedi canonically, but we've all gotten past that. And then the Republic's like, I mean, so much so that they even say in this episode, Mon Mothma's like, she's going to come and testify on your behalf. I'm like, so you trust her well, she's telling you she's on a mission. None of this makes any sense. You know what I mean? Then just if
Well,
you're gonna take her testimony.
I got the impression that Mon Mothma's with them and like just believes in them because she's a good guy, but that it like she's like she needs to come and like back you up or whatever,
Right.
And Maria says there's been some of my main problems because the timeline has Han, Leia, Luke very active in the galaxy, so not even a whisper of them takes me out of the whole thing. They literally said Leia. Yeah, they literally said Leia in this one.
Senator Organa.
It was
like
it's
Senator Organa, right? Like
so. Yeah. So I mean, she's probably coming on. She's probably going to.
Well, that's a dual-edged sword, though, Maria, because then if they're mentioning Luke and Han and Leia every time, then you're in a memberberry situation with fans where you got to mention these characters to make it relevant. Like, I think what it really comes down to is like, okay, if your whole government was formed because some supernatural swordsman defeated the other wizard guy, you know what I mean? And then someone who has equally crazy wizard powers is telling you some bad shit's coming, and you still don't believe them, then you're like, what are we doing here? We clearly know this shit's real. We saw the repercussions of not believing in it the last fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't understand. I still don't believe with the way they sold it that the Republic doesn't believe there could be a Grand Admiral Thrawn. They're just saying it, doesn't have there's not a convincing reason to. I get when like in Andor, when the ISB doesn't take certain things as a threat, the way it's set up, you believe when they do and don't take something as a threat, the believability, however that's constructed, like in the writing, there's just not a believability in this. It's just saying it doesn't because they have to.
I've been hearing whispers. Baghdad Bob is alive.
Oh, we're back to that again?
He's coming back.
Baghdad Boba shows up, right?
Baghdad Boba.
Yeah. Yeah.
We won the Clone Wars. We won them. We won all the Clone Wars.
There's a section of your audience that still doesn't remember that shit.
No, they were probably sperm at the time, maybe at best.
Every 9/11, I go Baghdad Bob, man. He'd be in the Trump administration right now if he could.
It sounds like he sounds like a Simpsons character, doesn't he? Baghdad Bob.
Well, there was crackhead Bob. That's Sideshow Bob, right?
Sideshow Bob, yeah. I mean, I want to watch the episode again and have a more nuanced discussion about some of the stuff in it and some of the things that were said, but it was just such a big episode with so many things that happened, and I enjoyed it. And the best thing that can happen, I think, on the show, on a Star Wars show, is that I am not annotating in my brain for this show. I'm enjoying the show on TV, and that's what it did for me tonight.
I sort of think of the New Republic in this instance as like the mayor from Jaws. He doesn't want the populace to be spooked by a shark because it'll hurt tourism.
Yeah.
Right? Like they don't want to think there's a bigger threat out there because business is good. There's a way to sell this where they're all doing really well again. You know what I mean? There's a more anthropological economic, I say economical, I don't mean like in terms of size, I mean in terms of economics. There's a way to do this where you see the opulence of some people in Andor, how they live compared to everyone else. There could be a situation now where these people are living so good. We don't want to spook the status quo. We don't want to go back to, this place could be bombed at but there's a shark in the water. It's out there, The problem is we haven't seen that shark. And I do feel like in a 12 episode, more complete series, we would be with Ezra and Thrawn on some level, right? We would be jumping to that sea story.
Yeah, I don't know what happens exactly next episode. Well, 6, 7, and 8 are the Thrawn episodes for sure. I just never knew if he came before, but
right. But you see Jaws in the beginning of Jaws, right? What I'm trying to say, we don't
right. But how I think this is gonna go is now that Ahsoka's got her new white fucking costume, that's way better than the other costume. I like this new costume the most. I think that's like a good costume. And I think she's going to, but now if things go well, she's going to be challenged on the new knowledge that she has, and she's going to put it to use, and it's either going to pay off or it's not. And we heard some stuff this week, and it's like,
Well, I
that the
thought the
show.
knowledge, Jason, this is where I'm confused with the story, right? Like when you get into
Okay.
the nitty gritty of the story, I thought the knowledge was supposed to be we were going to see what her life was like had she stayed and killed Anakin.
Yeah.
We didn't see any of that.
Had she yeah, no, they took that away. They went a different direction with this shit.
See, that's the thing.
Same motifs were all there, but it's or the same, like,
it's but the way you describe it is
there.
far more interesting.
Well, that's the way, and then but what we end up with, I think, is that she is afraid to like live. That's the whole. I think that's the point. She's not teaching Sabine. She's afraid of what like life does to you, and she won't have any faith that life isn't going to do bad things to the people around her. So now that she has that, when she gets reunited with Sabine, I would imagine there's something in their relationship that will fix, that will, some of the I don't believe in you shit will be alleviated, and then Sabine will get to do the right thing, rectify some of her character.
Maybe telling your student they're the worst fucking student they've ever seen over and over again isn't the best teaching.
He was real sad about that. Robot was sad about that too. He was looking at the helmet like, man, I really.
He was one step from using the way the R word
down. So I kept saying
he wanted to use the R word, but even his programming wouldn't let him do it, right? Like, but he wanted to. He's from an older robot generation.
He's a different.
It was
different
cool.
time.
It was okay when he was built, but eventually it came out of favor, rightfully so.
But yeah. So anyways, though, and like that's where I thought the like kind of the red arrow was coming from, is that we're supposed to think that she's going to train Jason, but in reality she's going to actually return to her student, and then they're going to I think have a better interaction. And then
I want Balin to behead Jason, just cut his head right off.
Well, Ezra, we don't have any. I don't have any angle on this. It was Bespin's theory. I'm not giving Bespin any more credit for the theory anymore either. He got his citations. Fucking live with it, Bespin. Don't fucking text me, okay? But Ezra training Jason is a good symmetry. It makes the most sense. And then I think that like they don't want us to anticipate it, so they kind of do that. But I think we'll end up with Sabine being trained by Ahsoka. And even though she probably won't be there anymore, if it goes how I think it goes, she won't be there anymore. But that's where it's supposed to go, and then they will in turn train Jason. And I would also, there could be a time jump in that too, which is something to also anticipate, that when we're moving out of this stuff, into these other places. And fascinating theory that I heard. Who had the theory? Might have been Santa. He's like, oh, well, what if Ahsoka's brought back by the skeleton crew from this show? What if there's an episode where they're, because we've heard that they end up in some fucked up spaces too, so they might be the ones who bring her back. It's worth.
I wouldn't put any money on that one.
I wouldn't. I mean, no, it's possible if we need to get from the end of this show and she's, well, here's the other thing. Why is anybody really kind of stuck if she just needs to jump into Space Whale's mouth and go back? And then why didn't Ezra do it? But I'm like, but maybe Ezra, maybe they go somewhere more fucked up than there. Like maybe that from there they go to the fucking fire planet that the whales can live in and everything, but you'll just burn up. I don't know. But there's dumb questions that your brain logically thinks when you watch these kind of stories, but anyways, yeah, I'm super so far though.
This is the difference between stories and real life. With real life, you're trying to like sync up moments and events and timelines. This is why I don't like when fans do that to stories. Stories, or when you're being told a story, if you're thinking about any other shit, you're not being entertained. You should be entertained, and you should be in the moment with stories. Yeah. You shouldn't be, when you're thinking of all this other stuff, the story's not doing its job. Stories are magic tricks. They're magic. They're not supposed to. They have to be believability, not actual life. Matter of fact, actual life sometimes fucking weirder, as we've all seen the last 4 years in actual stories. Hey, half the time I turn on the news, I'm like, if that were a show, we'd all say bullshit. But here we are, you know. So, I'm not into that. I'm not worried about that. I think it's just that when we're in positions like, well, Ahsoka felt this way and felt that way, and I'm not seeing it in the show. I'm just, when you say that, I can look at her performance. It's almost like Vader's mask. You look at Vader's mask, you can project that onto that performance and get that. You know what I mean? It's so nothing's kind of happening in her performance that you can project almost any storyline onto that performance and see it if you want to.
Yeah.
But I remove, since I don't have 700 years of Clone Wars cartoons to like be adored by and fucking bewildered by.
It's not like you could have went outside for the last 4 years, so you should have, you know, maybe watched.
I could have, but I didn't.
More.
So
you should have done it.
You ever see South Park? I could say the whales. I just don't care. So like I could have, Jason, but I'm not going.
I'm gonna Scott Testerberg. What was the guy's name? Scott, the one who ate the chili. No, Wendy Testerberger's the
Wendy Testerberger. Oh no,
yeah,
it was the one with the chili. Mickelson. Yeah, Scott Mickelson. Say his tears. Yeah, they ate him in the chili. That's a great episode.
Straight as parents.
I like that one too. Yeah, I just think like I don't like when these shows don't definitively say like what characters are thinking. You know, if you want to take an impression, I prefer impressionism as an art form. You know, my favorite art style is pastel landscapes. I like impressionistic. I like Monet. I like Bob Richardson. You know what I mean? I like Marla Bagetta.
I don't want to know if there was an orgasm or not. Just it seemed like there was. I got the impression there was. I'm good with that.
But when I'm watching a film, I want to know what the characters feel like, unless it's supposed to be an ambiguous moment, right? But it can't be ambiguous the whole series, you know, until you go, oh, now they made a decision. I don't know what they were conflicted about to begin with. I can sort of guess, because obviously it's not working out. You know, she and her would-be Padawan are not getting along, you know? So obviously it's not.
Have they tried kissing?
Huh? I suggested, look, man, they eat off their floor. Like, what do you want me to do with it? I'm the only one who's disturbed by this.
Those six are kinky.
I've seen that episode 3 times, and I'm like, they eat off her ass fell on that floor for an hour, and they're
Filoni says, I like wolves, and they eat off the floor too. Oh man,
canceled. So, you know, like I like Paul shows up just to say he doesn't like Andor and then leaves. Like that's his move now. Yeah.
You know what? I'll give it to him. I'm gonna let him have that one this time. But I mean, I'm happy. I feel like the show is delivering on the level of stuff that they were doing in the Clone Wars. And
this is the episode you can tell your friends who are like, I'm not interested. I don't know what it's about. I don't really care. When you get to episode 4, you're going to fucking say it's cool. Right. Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, I like the early episodes. They are like a bit slow, but the pacing is it's snowballed. Not in the gross way, Filoni, not in the gross way. Like as storytelling does. You know, it's getting bigger and faster, and it's rolling down the hill, and we're getting momentum. Here we go. But
I was thinking of like the Hostess snack. I was like, well, what do you mean?
God damn, coconut.
Yeah, everything's food to me, man.
Yeah, I'll let you have my almond joys this Halloween. Anyways, yeah, actually, I don't mind them. As a kid, I don't like them, but as an adult, kind of.
You got to eat them refrigerated. That's the key. A warm almond joy is no good, but a cold, not a frozen, but a cold almond joy is great.
All right, I'll give it a whirl.
That's the trick. It's the key.
Yeah. But anyways,
only a fat guy would know this.
I think we.
I know how to make a Papa Murphy's taste better than it should in an almond joy. I'm clearly a fat person. Like, it doesn't matter what weight I lose, I will always have this. Like,
you know what? You're not fat out here. You're fat in here.
I'm schlubby now. I've gone from fat to schlubby. So I feel better. Yeah. I'm working on it.
Well, we did it. We did it, Rob.
We did it.
The computer didn't die. It's not lagging up too bad. I think I'm gonna make it until that other
I won't be on the show for another week, so the views should go up. I mean, it should be all good. Like
I want to do a show tomorrow, Rob. If you're around, I hope to do one.
I'm gonna endanger the mission, Jason. Like that's I guarantee you this gets the least amount of views. We're lose people.
Don't come. Just imply you did.
When I post my own artwork, I lose followers. I went from 182,000 to 180 just posting art. Some of my best art. And they're like, I don't know what we were thinking.
Yeah.
Hey, that's how I work.
Maria, I got to, you know what? Salute for making somebody's dreams come true. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I'm star crunched. You figure it out.
Yeah. Hey, Jesse. Yeah, come hang out tomorrow, Jesse. We haven't seen you in a while. Miss you. And if this and all of this is contingent upon this setup working, but it's doing great tonight. So hopefully it's tomorrow. It's not 3,000 degrees and everything. But anyways, thank you to everybody for the super chats today. Thank you for being a channel member, and thank you for liking the video. And we've had like pretty fun, pretty good views the last couple of weeks or whatever. We're doing intermittent shows, but the views have been good. So you know what? I guess it's not quantity, it's quality, huh? Maybe. I think it's just the Ahsoka
we
show.
haven't hit quality.
We never hit quality. I mean, you seen this shit? Look at this shit. It's just
what it is, Jason. This is what you were telling me with them. If the movies came out and the movies people like them and we like them, our views would be going up. The problem is we've been telling people the truth for the last 2 years about the quality of their Star Wars shows, and they don't like it. They don't want to hear that. They agree with you a year later, but in the moment they fucking hate you.
Yeah, well, they put us in this place of tell them the truth of what we really see is going on, and then they get mad or take it as a fucking War on Christmas style fucking woke agenda thing, and I'm just like, I don't want anything to do with that either,
I have a friend who hated The Last Jedi, right? With a passion, right? One of those, I just hated it. It was the worst ever. It's the worst ever, right? Loved Rise of the Skywalker when it came out. But now, after time, admits, because we were talking last night, I'm like, they should have just let Rian Johnson finish those 3 films, considering what they made. And even he was like, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, once you get past your own bias and you can look at it objectively, took me a long time to get to that point. It took the prequels and the Matrix sequels and the Hobbit movies to all teach Rob, they don't care about you. They're not here to make you happy, so just be, and if you don't like the film, walk out. You don't have to watch this shit. You bought the ticket, you can leave. It's not the military. You can leave whenever. I can walk out of Sonic 2. I don't need to watch this shit. I'm out of here. I'll go home and watch Sonic 1 again.
Relationships are the same way. You can just leave.
Once you get divorced, anything's to go. You can just walk out, right?
Anything's possible now.
It's bad. It's a bad lesson to learn now.
Once you give them this, they're like, well, I have everything he has to offer me.
You got to stay and live, right? To bring it back on target. Stay and live.
My daughter, little narcissist, goes and finds this adorable picture of herself from the front room and comes and puts it on my desk right here. So whenever I'm doing anything, I must look at her adorableness as a baby. I'm like,
so she's already learning the art of manipulation. She's going to be running Lucasfilm in 20 years.
Yeah. She's like, oh, really, Kathy? You don't think we should bring Anakin back? Have you ever seen this picture of me as a baby? And now he's back.
Such a baller move.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We'll see everybody tomorrow. That's the plan. I'm sticking to it. That's it. Thanks everybody for the support and for liking the video and all that jazz. And Rob, it was nice seeing your beautiful face on screen when you weren't a dead ghost. You were like Anakin.
The beer brings
the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.
Let's go. It's not about spaceships.